Welcome to Satsunami. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Satsunami. I'm Satsunami and joining me today to regret my life choices is my very good friend Adam. Adam, welcome back.
Hey, Adam.
Oh yeah, this is the last time I'll let you choose a topic for this show.
Oh, I can't believe you didn't fall in love with this like I did.
See, this is the weird thing. Like, I remember ages ago, you and I, of course, have a mutual friend who used to do like a bad movie night, and I don't know, were you there when we did this one?
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, were you? Right. Like, sorry, Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe there. Don't speak to me like that.
I wasn't part of this incredible life event.
I was there when it was premiered. Yeah, it was... Oh, yeah, I remember watching it then and kind of enjoying myself. Because, when you're with friends and you watch a bad film and you think, oh, this is amazing. And then when you watch it on your own, you're like, what am I doing with my life? What am I doing? But, yeah... Yeah, do you want to tell the lovely people listening what film we're going to discuss tonight?
Well, we are reviewing discussing the all-time classic, the creme de la creme of video game movie adaptations, Super Mario Bros. From 1993.
I can't believe this came out in 1993. Obviously, although we are kind of 90s children, we would not... I
didn't know what Mario was at this time in my life, I have to admit.
Yeah, same. I mean, yeah, we would have been, a year old? It's like... we were kind of spared. We were spared with this film when it came out. I actually don't remember watching this film when I was younger. Like, I remember my brothers, like, they're, of course, a bit older than me, and they were really into Nintendo and things, so they knew everything about Mario. And I think they saw it, and they weren't impressed. But, it was like one of those things they go to see, and think, I don't know, it's like a childhood memory that you try to suppress with these kind of films. You're just like...
No, I was just going to say, it's funny, because I don't think I fully watched this film until that eponymous night that you've just mentioned. I think I'd seen bits and pieces of it, but I'd never actually seen the whole thing beginning to end.
Yeah, same.
I don't know, it's the kind of thing that, I feel like if I'd been of a certain age and gone to see it, I probably would have loved it. It has that feel because it's like, your tastes aren't as discerning when you're a kid, and especially if it's something that you like, a character that you recognize and stuff. The chances are you're going to be so absorbed into that you're like, oh, it's amazing. You don't really have the critical faculties to be like, wait a second, hold on a minute here. Let's just think about this. So I think I would have loved it, to be honest.
Now before we talk about the film itself, I want to set the record straight here. So if any of you follow me on either Instagram, Twitter, you'll know what I'm going to talk about here in a minute, Adam. But yeah, if you follow me, you might have seen that I posted a picture of a physical copy of this. It was not the DVD. It was the Blu-ray, yes. I can explain. I am going to explain because, we're not moving on until I explain in full detail. Yeah, basically, I was in a second-hand DVD shop called CEX. I still refuse to call it, the way they want to call it, because it's stupid. Anyway, so it was a second-hand DVD shop where I was just browsing around, and then I actually saw the Super Mario Bros. Film, and I was like, and I texted our friend, and I was like, oh, I can't believe it, they've got the Super Mario Brothers film. That would be, really good for a bad movie night. And he was like, oh, okay, fine, why don't you pick it up and I'll give you the money for it? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I got there, we watched it, and then, he handed me back the Blu-ray, and I was like, wait, do you not want it? And he's like, no, you keep it. It's Like, oh, what? So yeah, now I'm holding it right now in my hands. I've got a Blu-ray of Super Mario Bros. The original motion picture, rated PG and starring Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo, and Dennis Hopper. Yeah, this is a stage I think this is probably, or that rather, was the point in my life where things started to spiral down. I bought this film and just...
It all went wrong from
yeah.
there.
It's like an old... I'm telling my war stories on stream here. It's like...
You see these scars.
You see these scars. Do you want to know how I got them? I watched Super Mario Bros. And it was a bad time. So, yeah, speaking of... Super Mario Bros. Adam, and yes, I am throwing the gauntlet over to you here. How... You're prepared, I know it. Like, in the briefest sense possible, like, if you could give, like, a brief summary of this film without reading the Wikipedia bio.
Why? I'll never read the Wikipedia, it's not going to make any sense. Why'd you do this to me?
Yeah, like...
we were friends. Okay.
That was before I watched it again.
That's really fair for me making you watch this. Okay, Super Mario Bros. Is a quote-unquote loose adaptation of the Super Mario series of video games, and it centers around the eponymous Mario and his brother Luigi, who are plumbers in Brooklyn, who, through various shenanigans, get transported to an
parallel universe. Yeah,
parallel universe. That's the word I'm looking for,
or dimension, or whatever. Yeah,
where basically an asteroid when the asteroid hit the Earth that killed the dinosaurs, it actually transported the dinosaurs to a different universe, different dimension, where they have evolved into kind of humanoid creatures, but still a little bit dinosaur-y. And their big center is called Dino Hatton, like Manhattan, but because it's all dinosaurs, it's Dino Hatton. And so Mario and Luigi get transported to that, along with this woman called Daisy, who it's discovered is the princess and the heir apparent of the mushroom, of Dino Hatton and the mushroom. It is the Mushroom Kingdom, right? They do call it that.
I think so.
So let's call it the Mushroom Kingdom for brevity.
For brevity, yeah.
So then basically Luigi and Mario have to help Daisy overthrow King Koopa, who is the dictator of Dino Hatton. And shenanigans ensue, and Mario refuses to jump.
Does he? Oh no, does he not have the boots?
No, but I think there's a famous bit like where the bit where Luigi jumps is you gotta trust Mario and jumps across and ends up getting himself caught on that hook thing.
Oh,
and he's like, look, Mario, but Mario's refusing to jump. And it's like, dude, Mario's the one thing Mario does is jump.
Yeah. That and plumbing.
There's a lot of plumbing in this film.
I am not gonna lie, I think they took it a bit too literally.
Mario has never done plumbing in any of the video games, has he? I don't know the Mario canon that well, but... I
mean, loosely, if you include going down pipes as plumbing, then yes, a lot of that, but, it's a bit like... See if they made a Sonic the Hedgehog film, but they focused on the aspect of him being a literal hedgehog. And they just, filmed an actual hedgehog going around. And I don't know, got, Gary Busey or someone,
God.
voicing him.
Make that film?
Or Jake Busey, whoever. Yeah, the horror. There is another film like that with Jake or Gary Busey, but you know what? I'm not even going to go into that bad film. We're here for the Super Mario Bros. But yeah, they're focusing on the wrong thing. It's like if they made Lord of the Rings and they focused on a jeweler's for the film. Yeah, we get Mario's a plumber, but you're not focusing well, technically half of the film is them, a third of it is them in Manhattan, and then the rest of it is them in the parallel universe.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, the parallel maybe at the time it was innovative, but it just looks like any other dystopian cityscape. You're expecting Judge Dredd to be walking around.
I think it's got some character. I think me and you would judge us. Me and you, I think, are going to disagree about this, this film as we go along. But I don't know. I think it's got a bit of character. But I see what you're saying. But I kind of like it.
Although they did get pretty lazy. I don't know if you picked up on that. There's a scene later on when Bowser or Koopa or whatever you want to call him. Let's just call him Bowser. Yeah, King Koopa. He's got a globe of their world, and it's literally one city. And he's and the rest is desert. And I'm like, wow, Wow, Mario, the Mushroom Kingdom. What, one block of skyscrapers? Wow. And then for some reason he really hates plumbers, and for the life of me, I do not know why. Does he ever explain? Other than the fact it's obviously Mario who is the plumber, so they have to give him a reason to hate him, but like... What?
Perhaps he, I don't know, like, I mean, but that's why we needed more from this universe, so we could dig into we need to know the backstory.
Like, I don't mean to harp on about it, but they really go hard on the plumbing angle in this film. It's like there's a scene where it's like they're talking about the different equipment when they're fixing like this pipe, and it's like, I need a wrench, I need this, I need that, and I'm like, we get it, you're a plumber. It's like, please stop. Because there's actually, do you remember like earlier on in the film where there's like saboteurs, plumbers?
Oh, that bit is hysterical though, because as you said, not only saboteurs, but they wear the uniform for the company that they work in.
Yeah.
So you can instantly tell it. It's Scapelli.
Scapelli.
Like, the worst saboteurs ever.
Oh, that whole scene. Can I talk about that scene, like, really briefly? So, there's a scene... So, basically, the film begins with, you know... Don't worry, I'm not going to recap the whole thing, because we would be here all night. But, I mean, the film begins with a really weird, like, animation where, as you said, it's like this really rushed Microsoft Paint, I suppose, like, drawing of these dinosaurs eating, speaking in, like, a Brooklyn accent, going, things don't get any better than this, and it's like, oh my god. And then there's this weird voiceover where it's like, and I don't know if I picked it up right, like somebody said, at least I read in the credits that it was Dan Castanella. I don't know if that's true or if it's the same one. I'll have to fact check that. Like, I did see the name, but it might just be a complete...
Looks like it is.
Is it? Oh, what? How did they go from that to The Simpsons? But like, it goes... Or sorry, like... Yeah, they focus on the dinosaurs, and then the meteor hits, and it's like, but wait a minute, what if the meteor created a parallel universe, and the parallel, like, it starts turning into this weird fan fiction, you know, like, okay, what the hell is going on here? And then, like, it's so crazy that you are invested, you're like, what is going on? And then, it transitions to Princess Daisy, or Daisy, as she's known, and she's like an archaeologist in the middle of Brooklyn. You tell me, because I don't know why. And she's digging up dinosaur bones, and you're like, okay. In the middle of Brooklyn, okay. And, you know, Scapelli, who's like the the stereotypical sleazy, like, property owner, I want to say, or something like that. And he's just like he's just like...
He's got property, he's got plumbing.
Oh, plumbing, yeah. He's got his fingers in a lot of pies. And he basically wants the archaeologist gone so he can build faster or something. And then there's like this scene where later on, as we said, like there's these saboteur plumbers that try flooding the site, and they're like running away. So the reason they end up stumbling across it is because I think is it not like after a date or something? Like Luigi goes on a date with Daisy, and Mario like buggers off elsewhere. And they go by the site, and then they see the plumbers, like, you know, run away. So they run back to Mario's apartment, say that the place has been, you know, is being sabotaged, and he gets really angry. He's just like, Scapelli, you know, like, as if that's like a hidden character in Mario or something. It's like, yes, Mario versus Scapelli, it was the highlight of my childhood. It's like, and then they like lightning quick, like run really fast from their apartment back to the site where it's only like ankle deep at this point, like the water, even though it's like a huge pipe like billowing out all of this water. And it's like, my god, Mario's faster than Sonic in this. It's like 2 seconds later he's got his tool belt and he's running. Never seen anyone run so fast. But I just wanted to say that because it's like, he is so fast in that scene, and just like, okay, we will come to the good or bad, but did you find something wrong with the editing in this?
All I can think of, I was having too much of a good time, so I had no time to notice things like editing.
Oh, yeah. It was just more like, it would be one, like in one scene they would just be standing there, and then the other scene it was just like, oh my god, like they're halfway across Manhattan fixing pipes and things, and then the other half it's like they're in Dino City, and it's like, wait, I know it's not Dino City, but you know.
Dino Hatton.
Dino Hatton, yeah. Oh, just Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to point that out before we got on because it's been it's been bothering me before before the whole
Eating
thing.
away at you this whole time.
Oh, I know. Now I can free myself. I'm gonna end the stream now. Okay, see. That's the only reason I wanted to come on tonight, just to be like to rant about that. Before we kind of like talk about the good and bad more in depth, have you read about the trivia for this? Because this is a fascinating film, by the way.
It really is. I mean, I've read about how close to death Bob Hoskins came at multiple times during this film.
Yeah, like, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but did the Mario brothers not heavily drink?
Oh, I think they were drunk. I think they were both, Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo were drunk for, I think, most of it.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of that, but from what I heard, like, the working conditions in this film were terrible as well.
Yeah.
Like, really brutal. Like, there was one I saw, or like a fact I saw, where one of the extras got coffee poured on them because they didn't look dirty enough.
Jeez.
The director, and I thought, oh my god, that's just grim. But I think the one that really, like, this is the one that really shocked me, and I think it shocked you when I told you, it was the fact that they actually considered Tom Hanks for the role of Luigi. I think it was either Mario or Luigi, but I think it was just Luigi that they wanted.
It was Luigi. That blew my mind when you told me that.
But that's the thing, though. It's like, the reason... This is the... I have to admit, this is the funny thing. The reason they didn't want him in was because he was in Turner and Hooch in, I think it was 1989, it said. And because that film bombed, they didn't want to risk with them. And it's like, you know, see if he has to have a bad film to not be in this one. Like, I feel as if that's maybe a blessing in disguise for him. Maybe. Yeah, with Mario, not Mario, with King Koopa, they actually wanted Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's crazy as well.
It's insane. Like, can you imagine this? Well,
Michael Keaton as well apparently was approached to play Koopa. Danny DeVito was also offered the role of Mario.
Damn. I actually didn't know that.
People turned this film down. My goodness.
Do you know, that's surprising considering the like scope of Mario at the time. Because I mean, if you like,
know, it's true.
It's like if you contextualize it from, you know, when it was brought out, like Mario was everywhere. I mean, like, you know, obviously the games and things, but I think it was 87 or 89. I think it might have been 89, but they did already have like a live action show of like Super Mario. Oh, well, it technically wasn't a live action show, but it was like,
oh, really?
It was like one of those shows where it was like they would have like bits in between where it would be like a guy dressed up as Mario and they would be doing like skits with like guest stars and things, and then he would have like a cartoon. Yeah, so it was big, it was popular. So no wonder they thought, oh, let's capitalise on it with this film. And yeah, I think... yeah, I don't think it went the way they thought, which, I have to admit, is it not been... Like, I'm trying to think, has there been a live-action film since this one?
Of Nintendo properties?
Before Detective Pikachu. Because as far as I remember, that's probably the most...
That was it. That was the only... Well, this is what drove them away from Nintendo. Yeah. They were scared of doing any others after this one. But no, it wasn't until, as you say, Detective Pikachu.
That's so strange that they never tried again. Well, then again, I suppose considering how badly this film bombed, which I have to admit, like, although I'm ranting on it in the first couple of minutes, like, it does have redeemable moments. But we'll get to that. Should we dive into it, though? Like,
let's dive into it.
Let's.
Well, before we do, actually, can I just read one thing? I found a fun bit of trivia that made me chuckle. It's about Dennis Hopper. So Dennis Hopper plays King Koopa in this film, and he talked about being a miserable time of making the film. But so he explained later on why he did the film when he said, "I made the picture called Super Mario Bros. And my 6-year-old son at the time, who's now 18, said, 'Dad, I think you're probably a pretty good actor, but why did you play that terrible guy King Koopa in Super Mario Bros?' And Dennis Hopper replied, like, to his son, 'Well, I did that so you could have shoes.' And his son replied, 'Dad, I don't need shoes that badly.'"
It's such a good quote.
What a sassy 6-year-old.
Slap that.
I'll go shoeless rather than have you in this travesty.
Oh, can you imagine? It's like,
oh my God.
Yeah.
Kids in the 90s, let me tell you.
I know. Dennis Hopper.
Kids are bad now. They were sassy.
Yeah, well, that was the 90s for you. Whole lot of sass. And Radicalness, as they say. I swear we're young, I swear. So yeah, let's get into the good of this film. And I'll let you kick things off, because I know you said there's like a lot that you really enjoyed about this film.
Here's my... Do you know what? It's funny talking about this film, because I view this a lot like when we talked about the Stallone Judge Dredd film a couple of weeks back. I genuinely think if this film wasn't a Mario film and it was called, let's say it's called like The Plumbing Siblings or something like that, I think this would be like a below average, like pretty mediocre film. It's because it's attached to the Mario name, like, you know, the Stallone Dredd is, that drags it down. But honestly, I think this movie is just so much fun to watch. I had such fun. It's really, I think we talked about this before, but it's really a fun film to watch with people, because you can have a lot of fun. You can laugh. I feel like you can laugh at the film, but you can also laugh with it. I think there are some genuinely funny moments in it. Like the bit with like the bit where the saboteurs run out is hysterical. Like a lot of the bits in Dino Hatton I think are really funny. The bit in the prison cracks me up. All the fungus stuff. As well, like the bit where there's one bit where they're trying to go rescue. They need to go rescue Daisy, and like they come to like a bit where they need to jump. I think I actually talked about this earlier on, but like Luigi is like, let's do it, and jumps, and he gets himself caught on like a hook, and he's like, look, I'm floating, it's all good. And then like Mario's like, okay, I'm gonna jump, and Mario goes to jump, and Luigi realizes he's on the hook, and he's like, Mario, and Mario just like falls off, and like that bit is genuinely funny and just made me howl. The bit with the Goombas dancing in the lift is hysterical. Like there's so many funny scenes in this film, but I just had such a riot watching it. And do you know what? Like, for as much as perhaps it does look, you know, Dino Hatton looks quite like generic, and you're like, okay, it looks like a generic kind of dystopia. Like, you can see there was money in this film, and like they were trying to create like a kind of unique aesthetic. Now we can talk a bit more about the aesthetic and the bads, and perhaps why it doesn't work. But I think they did create somewhere unique, and like I do like the things they put in, like the cars being like controlled by electricity and stuff. I thought it was cool. Like the police station, I think was cool, and it's the clubs and like the actual city streets and everything. Like I quite like the look of the sets in this. Yeah, like what else did I like? I don't know. I just had a lot of fun watching this film, and like I just think it's a shame that it is attached to the Mario like name, because I generally think this is like you can have a lot of fun with this film if it just wasn't called the Mario film.
If this was like, I completely agree with you. If this was called like as you said, like the Plumbing Brothers or Down My Brooklyn Pipe, you know, something like that. I don't know. I'm not paid enough to come up with alternate Super Mario titles. But yeah, if it was like its own film, definitely it would be one of those kind of like, I don't want to say generic, because this film is anything but generic at times, but it would just be one of those weird, you know, like, oh, an oil tycoon or a planner wants to, you know, take over Brooklyn, and, you know, then all of a sudden they get transported to like another dimension, and like it would have been one of those films that you watched when you were younger, and then you would have been like, that was a weird film. And then you wouldn't talk about it until like it came on TV, like another day or something. You'd be like, oh, I remember that film. You know, that kind of thing. So I totally agree with you on that. I feel as if the Mario branding is definitely like one of the hard hitting points.
Question, I was just going to say, how would you like adapt the Mario like source material into a film format? Part of me thinks as well, like I don't quite know how many games had come out by this point, and like how established things were. To me, it seems like it's, you know, it was still Mario running right, you know, and jumping over things, which it's not the easiest to translate into a film format. So I think for like attempting to do like something quite a difficult task like that, the film deserves some credit. At least they tried to put this into a kind of I mean, it's not like it's illogical in so many ways, but at least they tried to condense it into a kind of understandable format. I'll give them kudos for that.
Funny enough, though, there are apparently like a lot of like rewrites for this. Like apparently, and I don't know whether this is a rumor or not, but apparently there was meant to be a scene where, you know how they're like climbing through, you know, the Koopa Palace or whatever, or it's not a palace, but you know, his offices, and apparently there was meant to be a scene where they crawl through the vents and they were supposed to bump into Bruce Willis at one point or something like that, and there's like, what is this? Oh, just like reading through, honestly, like this is one of the films where it's like, read the trivia as well. You're really not going to be let down when you're reading it thinking, my god, what were they thinking for this and that? But it's ambitious. I will give it that. Like, I think as well, although I'm being harsh on it, I think as well to consider video game films were very much the same as superhero films. Like, do you think that would be fair to kind of compare?
In what way do you mean?
Well,
like...
in the sense that when superhero films came out in like the 80s and 90s, other than like the odd exception like Batman or something like that, they weren't really taken seriously. They were more just like, oh, it's just a hokey, action film, or it's this and that.
Yeah, fair.
And like, look at the Street Fighter film. Like, the Street Fighter film is just such a lot of fun. It's a bad film, but at the same time, it's just such a joy to watch that film. Because I remember that was another film we watched on that bad movie night. Yeah, it's like, it is one of those films that definitely you'd have to watch with people. But with Mario, I think they were probably banking on the fact that it was Super Mario. So anybody, or not anybody, but everyone would go, oh, it's a Mario film, therefore it's going to be good. And it would be easy money for Nintendo. Because, I mean, if you look at other things like... let's say, for example, RoboCop, that was like marketed to children. Ghostbusters, like during that time, there was just like a very, I don't want to be like, like acting as if I'm anti-capitals here, but like, it was a very advertise friendly time where it was just like, oh yeah, just slap it on a box, and technically that still happens, but I feel as if now people kind of are a bit more savvy to that. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, they obviously didn't take to this one, but I mean, do you think that's a fair assessment?
I think that is a fair assessment. I was actually just going to ask, like, I don't know if you know, but like, had there been any other video game movies made before this one?
I don't know if Mortal Kombat came before this.
I think Mortal Kombat came out later in the 90s. This was 93, and I think Mortal Kombat... I think Street Fighter was after this as well. So, like, in a way, this was like, this was kind of a trend. If it was one of the first, but this was a kind of trendsetter. And, again, you're trying something new. So, like, it is one of these things that, like, being the first, now video game adaptations are quite plentiful.
Yeah.
So there's a formula, but for trying to do something like that, like, it is quite a novel thing, and, you can see what perhaps and I do think the Mario is such a difficult, like, if you're going to do a video game, I think any of those kind of, like, 80s video games are pretty difficult to, like, to transport into a film, because their plots were usually, like, paper thinned. I don't think even quite describes it, to be honest. Like, you could summarize them in, like, a paragraph. So... I don't know. Like, I'll give it props for that if it was like one of the ones to come out first.
Because as easy as it is to kind of, like, again, I know I've been quite negative, but like, it's easy enough nowadays to be like, oh, this was terrible and that was terrible and things like that. But at the same time, like, as you said, they didn't really have a template. Like, it was one of the first films to kind of do something like this and to try and adapt, like, a major video game franchise. Like, especially for Mario. I mean, my God, can you imagine that? Can you imagine, like, being asked, oh, make a Super Mario film in the height of the Super Mario craze? Like, my God, I would be terrified.
I know. I guess that's why they had so many rewrites and stuff, because it seems like they had a lot to, like, try and make a plot for it and everything. Yeah, I just don't know how you do it. Like, how you take something that is like somebody goes right and jumps and transform it into something with like a narrative structure and character arcs and everying. Because I mean, like, no offense, and not to slag off Mario as a character, but he's never been like a very again, as far as I know, perhaps you or other people know different, but like, to me, he's never been like the most well-developed character. It seems more like a kind of archetype rather than like, he's not like like Booker DeWitt out of Bioshock Infinite or something. He seems a very two-dimensional character.
Well, someone's clearly not read the comics and the extended lore.
Oh no, I've got myself into it now.
Mario just, it's like the Watchmen adaptation. Oh no, sorry, the Amazon adaptation. It's just a serious, gritty, dark... Yeah, there probably is something like that out there. I would not be surprised.
Well, apparently that's what they were trying to go for a darker tone with this. And you can kind of see, like, why. Now, I don't know whether that was maybe the best idea to go for. I mean, like, I'm glad they did, because I enjoy the film, but, like, I'm not sure in terms of a financial sense whether that was the best idea to go for. It seems almost like they kind of like tried to have their cake and eat it, but instead their cake just got smashed into their face.
Was that not the reason though? Like the tone is a bit off in this because it was like half of them wanted like a kid-friendly film, and then the other half wanted like Batman kind of film, like a kind of darker adult film. Because apparently, and I found this quite interesting. Apparently, they had to tone down. So there's a scene later on where they're in Dino Hatton, and Dino Hatton is it's just like a seedy, like dark city with the neon lights and things, and they have to go into this club to seduce. Well, they have to seduce this woman into getting back basically their ticket home, like this big rock. Do you want to know what character she's based off of?
Oh, is that Big Bertha?
Big Bertha, yeah, which I didn't realise she was based off of the fish.
Is that the fish? Because I didn't like she was a character from Mario until I was looking up and I was like, God, Big Bertha's actually a fish.
Yeah, I genuinely didn't realise, and then when I saw that, I was like, is that a compliment? Is that an insult? What are we going for here, movie? What are we going for?
Do you want another fun fact about that club scene?
Oh God, yeah.
You know a lot of the dancers like in that film. Apparently, a lot of them were strippers.
Yeah, I heard that. I read that and I thought, no way. Can you imagine a Mario film and just being like, yes, I am proud to be the director of this film where we've got strippers in the middle of the Mushroom Kingdom.
Look, yeah. For 1 minute, Mario crashes headfirst into Showgirls.
It brings a whole new meaning to that alternate title I had, which I shall not be repeating. You have to you have to scroll back.
That's for Satsunami After Dark.
Yeah, the After Hours.
Yeah,
the Brooklyn Pipe edition. Oh no!
Oh,
okay. Oh, but yeah, it's ambitious. I will give it that. It's not the best, but it's ambitious.
It tried.
It tried. Just a sticker.
It damn well tried. And I think we've seen video game adaptations that are just quite lazy and by the numbers and are bad in that way. Yeah. So at least this one, at least for as bad as this one is in many respects, at least it tried something.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that. I would rather that a film was bad, but it was memorable, rather than it was average and forgettable. Because at least then, if a film is so bad that you can talk about it, then it's kind of done something right. I'm not encouraging films to actively go out there and be like, I'm going to be the worst film I'm going to be, and I'm going to get the internet In fact, a good example of that is Birdemic 2. Did you ever see Birdemic 2?
I've seen neither Birdemic.
Ooh, that's one we actually have to watch then. Next week on Satsunami.
Oh my God.
Oh, now the first one was unintentionally hilarious, but then the second one clearly knew that the first one was getting riffed on so hard. So they tried to recreate the scenes and it did not work at all. At least for this one, I'm kind of glad that at least if they were going to go balls to the wall crazy, they were going to go all out and just have, lizard tongues, dinos running about, Goombas, which we will get on to. Or do you want to talk about the Goombas? Because I know you were saying...
I feel like the character adaptations are probably in the bad section
of
the film. So unless we can move on to that, unless you have anything else you want to say good about it. I like the tagline of the film.
What was the tagline?
This ain't no game.
Oh, yeah, so...
That's quite a funny tagline.
See, the weird thing is, there is, some callbacks to the games. Obviously the characters, which we will get into in the bad bit, but also some of the sound design. I don't know if you've noticed that.
There is a couple of bits, isn't there, actually?
Yeah, it's kind of 8 to 6... I think it's 8-bit, or maybe it's 16-bit. But that kind of retro kind of sound effects. And the fact she uses, a gun at one point to, use the control panel.
Oh yeah.
She's pointing it as if it's the old gun you used to get for the NES, for Duck Hunt.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like that, but it's a similar idea where it's got the laser coming out of it.
Apparently some of those were though. Apparently some of those guns were the Nintendo the light gun things.
Really? Wow.
Some of them were. I can't remember if it's those ones or if it's the de-evolvers. It might have been the
Oh,
de-evolvers. Might have been the ones
okay.
that are like based off one of the light gun accessories.
Okay, I get you.
Just like painted up.
My God, imagine being that person. Yes, we were like a spray painted bright silver. It's like, okay, what's the occasion? You know, you really don't want to know. Just spray paint it and and walk away. Walk away from this project. But yeah, speaking of which, will we go into the bad?
Can I bring up a grey zone area first?
Absolutely. Go for
I
it.
don't know where this falls because I don't know if I have a clear cut opinion. So I'll defer to you on this one.
Okay.
Do you think the acting in this film falls into the good category or the bad category?
I feel as if it's just generic.
Okay,
Like,
so we'll put it in the bad one.
I guess it's like, because as we established, the main character or the main actors in this were drunk off their face. There's like a really awkward scene at the end where they save, spoilers, they save. Oh, by the way, yeah, we are going into spoilers. About 40 something minutes in, they're like, oh yeah, we are talking about this one. In case like there's like a Super Mario fan out there being like, oh boy, I can't wait to watch this. What's this video? And it's just me ranting, saying, and another thing about plumbing, I don't like it.
You're like King Koopa. You ever think against plumbers?
I don't know why it was necessary. You know what? Right, that's how I'm going to lead with this. Sorry, no, I'm going to go into this. Why did he hate plumbers? They never say, other than the fact that Mario is Koopa's antagonist. Did they ever explain? Like, what?
But isn't that the joy of the film, that you can come up with your own story? You can come up with your own. I mean, I don't know if they made action figures for that. I presume they didn't make action figures for this film, but imagine they did make action figures. You could like have scenes, and you could have like your King Koopa action figure being like, "Oh man, I've been waiting for my toilet to be unblocked for 3 hours now. Where are these damn plumbers?"
Do you want to know what a fun fact about this film?
Yeah, go for it.
Mario and Luigi, the title characters, the Super Mario Brothers, do not get into their trademark costumes until 66 minutes into this film.
Yeah, that's bad. I agree on that one.
Yeah, I read up on it, and that was one of the trivia points where it was like, yeah, they don't get into their typical red and blue and green and blue outfits until 66 minutes in, and you're like, okay. Like, up until that point, it's just two random plumbers messing about. Parallel dimension.
It gets worse than that.
Oh no!
It gets worse than that though, because at the start of the film, they're wearing the wrong color. So like Mario is wearing a green shirt and Luigi's wearing a red hoodie. Like when they're driving around the van, that was the one thing I got super annoyed at in the film. I was like, how could you do that? That's such a simple thing to like,
See,
to muck that up got me really annoyed.
See, I can understand, like 100%, I can understand why they wouldn't have them in like the overalls and things right off the bat. Like, because it might have looked goofy, but you know what? It's like, at least you could do it subtly. Because, I mean, you see people do that all the time, where it's like, it's like, it doesn't have to be like, as you said, like it could have been a green hoodie that Luigi was wearing, or it could have been the red like top that Mario was wearing. Just going back quickly to your point about the acting, can we talk about the chemistry between some of these characters? Why is Luigi such a creep in this film? Okay, so the reason I say this is because he bumps into Daisy, like, randomly. She's trying to get on the phone, like this payphone, so he lets her, he's being a gentleman, he lets her, go ahead and do it. And he, like, gives her a quarter, and then he just stands there, hovering over her, and she makes this call. And then he's just like, you're the beautifulest girl I've ever seen. And you're like, what? Luigi?
Come to dinner with me.
Yeah, and she goes to dinner, and honestly, it's like, so this is a joke that I make in the channel a lot. I yell like, "Oh, I'm speedrunning." Luigi literally speedruns his love life in this film. He's like, "I love you so much," and by the end of the film, he's like, "Oh, I can't believe you're staying here. I love you so much." It's like, you went on one date and she got kidnapped after it. I can't say this is like love's. Was it young love's Like, true. Like, I don't even know. Like, I'm getting my words mixed up because I'm just like, it's not your traditional love story. I think that's what I'm trying to get at.
That's a fair point.
It's not your Romeo and Juliet. Also, another thing as well, which I find quite weird, is just the fact that it's Luigi that's the brother that's, got the love interest and everything.
But this is one thing I wanted to talk to you about, because
Yeah.
I think you know Mario a little bit better than I do. Was Peach a main character in the Mario games, like, from the beginning?
Yes. Well, yes, she was, but technically she was called, I think, Princess Toadstool. But yeah, Peach, regardless. Yeah, same character.
Daisy is a character. Princess Daisy is a character in Mario as well, isn't she? From Mario, I've seen her in
yeah.
Mario Kart games and stuff. But I'm confused. I just did wonder why they picked Daisy and not Peach, because Peach seems like the more recognizable one.
It's weird because they put her in, like, the same kind of clothes, don't they? Like, she's got, like, later on, she's got, like, a pink dress and, like, she's got the blonde hair. So it's like, why didn't they just make her, Peach? Like, don't get me wrong, maybe they just thought, oh, it's better calling her Daisy than Peach.
Yeah, I wondered if she was in a game as well, like, close to the release of this film.
I think she was in a spin-off game. Maybe.
Oh, do you know what? Well, apparently she is actually a Luigi. She is, like, rumored to be Luigi's love interest. So in that sense, I'll give them credit because they've kept to that.
The only thing.
The only thing. Well, she apparently appeared in the Super Mario. Her first appearance was that Super Mario Land from 1989. Which I think I think they kind of took inspiration from that game a lot for the film. So I don't know whether it was just that way, that if that was like the game they knew the most, then like they took her there. But that's always I did find that strange in that like Peach is such an iconic character from Mario. I just wondered if perhaps she wasn't as iconic at the time, and that's why they chose Daisy. It just seemed like a weird choice to me.
Yeah, same. And especially when they do pair up Mario with someone, and it's not Peach. It's like some
Brooklyn floozy.
Exactly.
Daniela,
is that her name? I
do have to. Oh god, I do have to. Sorry, I'll let you finish.
No, go for it.
I do have to laugh. Sorry, just for everyone. But the one other scene that I find hysterical is the bit where, like, basically, like, King Koopa's been trying to get hold of Daisy, and so he sent his two cousins to like go kidnap her, but they don't really know what she looks like. They're just like keep kidnapping random women and end up kidnapping Daniela, who's Mario's love interest. And there's one scene where Daisy like gets kind of put into the room where all these women are being held captive, and then somebody says something, they're looking for the princess. They're like, "Ooh, princess!" They get really excited, like, "Ooh, maybe I'm the princess," and everything. That kind of cracks me up as well.
Yeah, that was quite a funny scene.
All these Brooklyn women just being like, "Oh, I'm the princess."
No, I'm the princess. I was like, oh no. Okay.
Like an episode of Jersey Shore or something.
Keeping up with the Coopers. Koopas.
Love it.
Oh, just... yeah, it was a bit strange. You would think that... See, this is the thing, because when they tried to kidnap Daisy initially, the two cousins, yeah, like, how to put this very nicely, they keep, like, saying, oh, if we fail this again, then, Koopa's gonna be mad and everything. There is a room full of Brooklyn women. It's like, how many times did they fail? It's like about 5 or 6 of them. It's not like just 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Because they kidnap Mario's love interest again, and it's like, okay, fair enough. It's like, okay, is that the only one they've kidnapped? And it's like, oh no, there's been like a whole string of these things. And it's like, these guys are... They mess up at every turn. How did they not get caught? Well, obviously I know because there wouldn't be a film, but yeah, like, how did they get their hands on so many women? It's like, oh, this is the pair... that's just... It's maybe a bit of a nitpick, but just... It's a bit of a weird one. The other thing I want to like draw attention to, and apologies for going on the negative, I feel like this is good cop, bad cop in this episode. It's like, you're like, I think this sounds good. Objection! Okay, I don't think it's terrible, but when it comes to Dino Hatton, or what's it called? Dino Hatton, right, okay.
Take a man out of it and it's Dino.
Yeah, right, okay. I wasn't sure whether they dropped the H as well, so it was like, Dino Hatton, hey!
Dino Hatton, hey!
God.
Stomp in here!
We're going into Nam and Jaden territory. But yeah, it was. I mean, I thought it was interesting, but here's where I kind of draw issue with this. It's the fact that Mario is very much like, although it's a platformer game, at the same time it's a fantasy game as well. In the sense that you've got like all of these like huge sprawling, like, green hills, and you've got all these mushrooms popping up, and you've got like huge rustic castles. It's perfect,
Yeah.
like, for an adventure story to be like, oh, let's explore and we might find these creatures and things. The film is just dirty. It starts off in not Manhattan, it starts off in Brooklyn, and then they just go into the bowels of the city. They get pooped out into an alternate reality, and it's just another city, and it's just, I mean, there are interesting things about it, but there's also, like, a lot of random things, like, see when they get taken to the police station, which, again, that establishes that Mario's last name is indeed Mario, which is something that probably didn't need to be established. It's like, did it need to be established? Yes, no, maybe. I don't know. But at the same time, like, the guy who's processing them has, like, a woman's leg on his shoulder. It's like, why?
Why not?
Why?
I pose the question to you, why not?
We'll discuss this after but like, it's like, why? Just, it comes out of nowhere. I get what they were going for. I get they were going for, like, this very dystopian, gritty, like, there is literally a scene where Toad, who, instead of being, like, a mushroom guy, is literally he's just a guy. He's literally just a guy who sings, like, anti-Koopa songs. Oh god, yeah, he gets arrested, and then 2 seconds later, I can't even do this with a straight face. Mario tries to stop the police. That's going to take all my willpower here, so excuse me. Mario tries to stop Toad from being arrested, and the police officer looks down, sees his tool belt, and instantly assumes he's a plumber, and arrests him too. And he's like, oh, you're a plumber, we have to arrest you. And he's like, why are you arresting me for being a plumber? And it's like, is this universe got, like, a version of Les Mis, where instead of, like, revolutionaries, it's all plumbers? Like, what? Were they put down in, like, the Great War? What?
Plumbers are the heroes of the proletariat.
Exactly. And to plumb the means of production, like, what is going on? And I know I keep making a big thing about this. I sound like a broken record, but it just seems like the generic... Like, I feel as if they just could have said, oh, I don't like you because you're a human and I'm a dinosaur. They didn't have to go any deeper than saying, oh, by the way, I don't like your profession, I don't like your haircut, I don't like your outfit. It's like, you might as well have gone the full hog then. And just been like, I don't like your apartment.
I like your life decisions.
Yeah. I think your games are subpar. It's like, whoa. But, yeah, it's a very... I don't know. I feel as if with a fantasy world, they could have had a lot more to do, but I will give them credit for, like, what they did. Like, at least it did seem very much like, and I can't believe I'm comparing it to Cyberpunk, but kind of City, or Night City, is it called?
Yeah.
I mean, what things did you, like, I've rambled enough, so apologies.
No, I was going to say, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. Like, it is such a as much as I said I quite like the design of it, it's a bizarre decision to have made the Mushroom Kingdom this, like, bleak, like, post-apocalyptic dystopia, when, like, it has never been portrayed as that, has it?
Not that I know of.
Even when Bowser takes over, I swear it's not. It looks nothing like that.
Because even when you play the games, it's always bright, it's colourful, the music's quite chirpy, and it only gets serious when you go into, like, the bowels of, like, Bowser's castle, and, you have to fight him and everything. And that's when it gets serious, but overall, it's always like, because obviously it's a children's game, but
Yeah.
it always has like an optimistic and kind of upbeat tone. And this film, it felt as if it's like baby's first Mad Max.
Yeah.
At times, it's like there's bits where there's literally explosions just going on everywhere. Although I will admit, I did laugh at so there's a scene with I'm going to talk about the one with the old woman.
Oh,
That is really funny, I will admit. So they're in the city for the first time and they're freaking out because there's just like tiny dinosaurs running about. And this like really friendly looking old woman comes towards them and she's like, "Do you boys not have a weapon?" Or something like that. And they're like, "Well, no." Well, she asks first if they're from out of town, and then she asks, "Do they have any weapons?" And they're like, "No, I don't think so." And she's like, "Oh, what a shame." And she brings out like this huge stun gun. And she's like, "Give me all your money, or give me all your Koopa coins." That's it. "Give me all your Koopa coins." To which she ends up stealing the like rock that they need to get out. But then Big Bertha comes and steals it and punches her, or sorry, throws her like over this railing. She hits a car. The taxi driver turns around and is like, "Are you okay?" And then she shocks him, like the taxi driver. And then if you look in like the distance, she actually falls over in the car. It's like everything's cracked. Like there's a 10-car pile up, and you're like, Jesus Christ. It is just insane. Like this film is definitely like off the bat. If you want like a faithful, very grounded adaptation of Super Mario Bros, this is not the one.
This ain't it.
Yeah, that's
it, buddy.
Like, yeah, going back to you though, like, because as I said, I've been like ranting about this far too much. Is there anything else you would say that this film kind of fails to deliver on?
I think the adaptation of we've kind of skirted this topic, but I think the adaptation of a lot of characters is really far from the mark. Like. One thing I'm gonna go into a slight thing as well here. So like before I move on to that point, right? So the idea is that these two dimensions have been separated. So you got Manhattan, you obviously got Earth as we know it, and then like Dino Hatton.
Yeah.
But like, so they've gone on their own separate evolutionary paths. But why is it still human beings? Like, I get they've evolved from like dinosaurs and stuff, but they still look like human beings. They just have like different dress sense a little bit, a more exaggerated dress sense. But like, I feel like they could have maybe, if you want to go down that route, could have been a bit more like creative. Like, I feel like it's just human beings, but they're just a bit wacky. But again, like that's when you're having like when you're adapting these like kind of characters like Big Bertha or Bowser's King Koopa are the same character, right?
Yeah,
this kind of confused me. Yeah, when you're adapting like King Koopa. And the Goombas and stuff, like their character design has no relation to basically anything about these characters in the film. I think Big Bertha is like the fish is red, right? And Big Bertha in the film wears red. That's about it. The Goombas look nothing. The Goombas are bizarre. Like they look nothing like the. Like when I looked at the Goombas, I was like, how did they come up with this like design for them? Because they look nothing like the Goombas are like mushroom-looking like creatures that are like short, stumpy legs, basically, and like big eyes. While the ones here are like giant lizards with like shrunken heads. It's such a bizarre design. I just don't. Although I have to say, like one thing, I'm almost glad they did come up with that because, like, when I watched the film last night with my fiance, and she went on such an emotional journey with the Goombas, and the first time she saw them, she was like, "These are disgusting," and she like hated them, but she could like look at the screen when they were on. But as you discovered more about them, and you find out that basically the Goombas are like de-evolved forms of like the human beings that exist in Dino Hatton, she was like, "Oh, that's really sad." Like, that's a shame that she went on this whole like journey of going from like completely like anti-Goomba to being like number one Goomba supporter, like rights for Goombas and everything, to like they were her favorite thing by the end. So to be a part of that emotional journey was incredible. So I'm glad they designed them like that. But like, I don't get how they came up with that design.
Yeah.
Really at all. And like even like King Koopa, I suppose to an extent looks a little bit like, maybe more than the other characters, a little bit more like kind of traditional Bowser, but even then, like it's such a like faint reminiscence. And then why Yoshi is like a reject from Jurassic Park is another bizarre one.
Life finds a way.
Life finds a way.
It does indeed. Yeah, your guess is as good as mine for that. Like,
And Toad, they messed up Toad. Like
Toad
that's what
is
annoys me the most.
Toad is surreal.
Yeah.
Like, so the established Toad is just being like this busker, like on the side of the streets that's doing, as we said, the anti-Koopa songs that they're singing before Mario gets arrested as a plumber. Last time I'm going to say that. And yeah, it's like, yeah, they change him into a Goomba. Like, other than him being a Goomba, like, he's just a regular guy. Like, he's not mushroomy, which I know sounds weird. Like, you're going to say, like, oh, how could they make him mushroomy? But I mean, I have seen adaptations where, you know, it's like, even put on, like, a hat or something that, like, kind of, like, because honestly, you can tell like a lot through like subtle like clothing choices or, you know, design choices. This was just like a busker you would see in like, I don't know, to use like a example for Scotland, you know, like up Buchanan Street or something. Or like in, I don't know, Edinburgh, or, you know, like just in general, it wasn't very, it wasn't very creatively designed. And then they turned him into a Goomba, so it's like, oh, okay, that's the end of that then. You know, wash your hands.
There's nothing of the Toad character there. And again, do you know, like, I don't know how established some of these characters and some of this lore was by 1993. Like, because I'm trying to think, like, maybe now it's looking back in 2021, then we know how, like, we know who these characters are because they've been, you know, established, and we've seen like so many different so many like versions of them, but they all kind of look the same and everything. Like, I don't know, maybe in 1993 it wasn't, but like Toad was a character like a lot of Mario games, wasn't he, and stuff, and had a kind of distinct look, and it's just weird that they've gone for this like version of him.
Well, from what I remember, I think it was established because I am sure, like, I brought this up earlier about the live action TV show they used to have. And when they had the cartoon, I think Toad was a character in that as well.
Okay.
I don't think it was the best. I think he was quite whiny, but then again, like, Toad has always had that kind of nasally voice, which, don't worry, I won't try to replicate it here. But yeah, it was still a character. He was still, like, there, but I mean, even in the first game, he's there saying thank you, but your princess is in another castle, which has spawned.
Of course, that's him, isn't it?
Yeah, which has spawned many a t-shirt that you see at Comic-Con. Yeah, it wasn't very, like, it definitely wasn't that creative. Like, in terms of the character design, like, Mario and Luigi, like, they could, as we were saying, they could have colour-coded them, at the very least. My God.
Yeah.
Put them in a red hoodie. Like, not Luigi, no, Mario.
I know, it's simple. Like, it's simple things, guys.
Like, really subtle things. Like, you could have had, like, I don't know, a red jacket and maybe, like, you know, just jeans or something. Like, blue jeans. And that would have, like, obviously you would have been like, oh, so when's it going to get into the real Mario thing? And then they could have saved it for that and had the build-up. But, no, they just, like, at one point he's in yellow. Like, a yellow suit. And it's like, how? Where? Why?
That suit is glorious. Though.
Okay.
I'd take my hat off. I'd doff my cap to Bob Hoskins because that suit is glorious, and I want to find a new one.
Can we just briefly touch on that scene where he tries to seduce Big Bertha? Like, yeah, this is the only film where Mario the how do I put this? Mario the, you know, childhood icon, the gaming character, seduces a lady in a what used to formerly be a strip club, apparently. It's now just a normal dancing club, and yeah, tries to get like this like the stone that they need to get back home from this woman, but like they keep dancing around and everything, and it's like, what did you think of that?
I loved it. I honestly loved it so much. I think maybe because he does so much un-Mario stuff in this film.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
it's so far from like what the character does in the games. That I'm like, I almost love the fact that he's doing all this stuff, and I'm like, where's this game? Where's this Mario game where you have to seduce like Big Bertha to get Jewel back? Better than just jumping on their head, which I presume is how you beat Big Bertha in the actual game.
I don't know if you can beat Big Bertha, can you?
Oh, well.
Well, I actually don't know. It's been a while since I played the games. Like,
in the comments how you beat Big Bertha.
But yeah, please email us or get in contact because we really need to know how to beat Big Bertha. In case
you need to ask our big brother again.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't want to ask my uncle at Nintendo about this.
Can I also say
Yeah.
how cheap the bomb looks?
Oh, yes.
It looks like some crappy thing you got off some like terrible seller on Etsy.
It does, doesn't
It
it?
looks so cheap.
Oh, can I also say, was it wearing Reeboks or
It was.
was it? Was because I never noticed, but then like I was watching a video on it, and someone was like, "Oh, and the bomb was wearing Reeboks," and it's like, "Oh my god, it is!"
It's simultaneously the best and worst bit of product placement I think I've ever seen.
It's such yeah. Why would you? Oh, like, yeah, like Reebok actually saw that and thought. I mean, it is such a '90s brand, but it's like looked at that and thought, "Yeah,
We'll
we
have a
want,
piece of that.
yeah, we want our brand on the foot of a bomb."
I really hope that was like they wrote that in. Like we'll give money for this, but we specifically want our like advertising to be on the bomb.
It's like, you sure you know Mario can wear the red hoodie? No, we'll scrap that. We're gonna we're gonna put it on the bomb. And yeah, just can I also just say the music is very annoying. You get some bits that are alright, but then whenever Mario and Luigi are getting into hijinks, they just loop the same soundtrack over and over again. I feel as if they had like very Twin Peaks-esque music. I feel as if like there's a black and white cut out there that needs to be made. It's just like
David Lynch version.
Yeah, exactly. Your favourite movies coming back into style. Hopefully. Oh, sorry.
I was also gonna say like I got some Bioshock Infinite vibes, and I can't believe I'm comparing Super Mario Bros. The film to Bioshock Infinite.
Oh, Jesus.
But I got some Bioshock Infinite vibes when like this alternate like universe still has like recognizable music from Earth. Because they have "Love Is the Drug" by Roxy Music, which is playing. It's done by somebody else, but like I'm like, oh my god, like this song still managed to like be created in this like alternate universe, or perhaps they like stole it from. You know, there's some version of Jeremiah Fink in Super Mario Bros. World, in Dino Hatton.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, dinosaurs, Jeremiah thing. One more thing that I just want to touch on, and I can't believe I've waited this long to actually bring it up. The opening scene. How? Why? Who thought that would be a great way to start? Basically,
are you talking about the one? Are you talking about after the Brooklyn Dinosaurs?
Yeah, after that. So yeah, the film begins with, as I said before, the MS Paint dinosaurs like talking, saying, "Ain't nothing better than this, Jim," or whatever. And then yeah, the meteor crashes, blah blah blah. The narrator says, "But what if there was a parallel universe?" And you're like, okay, I get it. And then then it begins as a completely different film, where this like poor woman brings like this box to an orphanage along with like a rock on the box, and she chaps the door, she runs away. These poor nuns look outside, they bring it in, they open the box, and do you want to describe what's in the box, Adam?
It's a giant egg.
It's a giant egg. And you think, where is this going? So the egg starts to kind of wobble and crack and everything, and out comes a baby. So you know, kids, you know how they told you like the birds and the bees in school? No, they're lying. It's eggs, apparently.
Somebody from an alternate dimension leaves an egg on the doorstep.
I'm sorry, but like
that's where babies come from.
Sorry, but how did that church explain that?
Yeah. How did they cover that up and be like, we can never speak of this?
It's like, yeah, we've literally just taken a baby or an egg in, and it's hatched a child. Yeah.
Also, they're incredibly lucky that they decided to like give that rock to her to wear as a necklace rather than just like dispose of it along with like, because she wears a piece of the meteorite that hit the Earth that split the two worlds into different dimensions, and that's the thing that like King Koopa needs that to try and like merge dimensions so he can take over Earth. Because it's got all the better stuff on it. And so like Daisy wears this as a necklace, and thank God the nuns decided to make that into some jewelry rather than just like throw it away.
Yeah, because otherwise,
or sell it to some pawnbroker. I don't know. Like,
what was the '90s version of Etsy again? Just the street stand? Or...
Your man down 4th Avenue. I don't know.
Are we uncovering a better film where it's like the nuns have like a side hustle?
That would be amazing. You'd love to see that, wouldn't you?
Yeah. And it's like, oh yeah, the baby coming out of the egg, yeah, that's cool. But Do you want to see the sick bling from Brooklyn?
What are these nuns up to?
Yeah, bling in Brooklyn. That's what it could be called. Yeah, get. I was going to make the joke and be like, whoever the creator of this film is, give us a call, but no. Please don't.
They never directed another film again.
I don't know if they did.
No, they didn't.
Did they not?
This killed their careers like stone dead.
Was it a married couple?
Yes, apparently
did it?
was.
Yeah. My God.
Imagine that strain on your marriage.
Imagine coming home every night and being like, "So, honey, what scene are we going to film tomorrow? Oh, we're going to film the scene where the ceiling
the egg gets left.
Yeah, the egg gets left for the Catholic Church." It's like
you had a great comment before we started. When we were like setting up how to talk about this episode, where you were describing it and you were like, "Oh yes, the first thing I think about when I think of Mario, the Catholic Church."
It's true though. It's like, oh yeah, when I'm playing Mario, I'm thinking of the Hail Marys and everything. It's like, it's just the weirdest start. Like, beyond the dinosaur, because it's like this weird animated dinosaur thing, this rushed explanation, and then all of a sudden, we've got like this weird, like, egg child abandoned. Yeah. And can we also talk about her dad? I've been putting
we already talked about her dad.
I've been putting this off for so long. I've been praying it away, but it's not going away, so we're going to have to talk about it. Basically, you know how they talk about the Mushroom Kingdom? The Mushroom Kingdom, the land of verdant grass, or verdant fields, and, like, just rich, fantastical landscapes. Well, they replaced that with, obviously, the city, as we talked about, and as you said, Koopa's got this gun that devolves people, so it like changes them into the Goombas. So he apparently staged a coup for the king, and the king was like one of the first people to get devolved. What the hell did they devolve him into? Because they say mushrooms. I've never seen a mushroom like that. Like, what? It's like,
that's a bad mold.
It's like, I think I feel uncomfortable with the fact it's like a kind of like upside down volcano, and then this like weird, I don't want to say sludge. What is it? Please help me, because I don't like. It's like
I don't want to help you.
It kind of slides. It's like it's like a more suggestive like version of the alien monster. Like, okay guys, the film Alien, when the alien opens its mouth and like a smaller mouth comes out? Imagine like the Play-Doh version of that. Like less appealing.
Imagine the Play-Doh version that had been left out in the sun and the rain for a year, and you go back to play with it,
and it still makes better entertainment. I'm only kidding. But no, it's so disgusting. And they make like jokes about it, like, oh look, it's the fungus has been guiding us all along, and it's like, this film is weird. Because in the span of like a couple of minutes they talk about parallel dimensions, genetic modification. I mean, what else do they do? Oh yeah, they talk about like overpopulation, they talk about deforestation, they talk about plumbing, they talk about planning for the city. There is so much to unpack in this film.
They have the Twin Towers like disintegrating in a very, very uncomfortable scene.
Oh, I did message you when I watched that scene. It is very uncomfortable. And I think, like, when I was looking into this, like, everyone was saying that as well. Like, basically just to explain, there is, like, a brief scene where they show the Twin Towers, but then they show it, like, dissolving and changing into Koopa's Tower. And pretty much every single comment I read was, that didn't age well. And it's like, yeah. So, and then everyone just moved on though, yeah. But even that is... Oh, sorry.
No, sorry.
No, go on. No, you first.
I was just going to say, I'm going to give praise to the directors and the screenwriters for this film, because they clearly did some method acting for this. Because as you know, like, Mario eats a lot of mushrooms to, like, make himself grow bigger and stuff doesn't even get powers.
Yeah.
They clearly ate a ton of freaking magic mushrooms to devise this film. So they lived the Mario lifestyle, because I honestly don't know how else you come up with half the stuff in this film without some like psychedelic help.
Joe, I thought that as well. Like, they always say that. They always say, like, this is the stereotypical joke of, when you're talking about video game characters, and, they always go for the bare basic, like, explanations, or not the bare basic explanations, but the bare basic jokes, like, oh, where does Sonic hide his rings? Or for Mario, oh, Mario eats mushrooms, haha, funny hi guy. That kind of thing. There's a weird scene, though, where he manifests like a tiny mushroom into a shield. I don't get it.
Trust the fungus.
Yeah, trust the that he literally says that. I'm genuinely not, like, making this up. He does say, trust the fungus. He brings out a tiny mushroom and it acts as a shield. I am wondering I would love to be a fly on the wall for that conversation. For someone just to be like, yes, of course. So, today we are going to be writing the, penultimate battle between, King Koopa and Mario. Jim, you have got, he brings out a mushroom from his top pocket, and it acts as a shield. Well, everybody else has quit, so we're going to go with that one. It's just like, there is no way, like, they looked at that and thought, perfect, this is exactly what we want.
Job done.
Oh, yeah. We should honestly, if it's not copyrighted, which I hope to God it's not, we should really get that in a t-shirt. Just trust the fungus.
Trust the fungus. What I love as well is they got in Lance Henriksen,
really?
to play the human version of the fungus who's a king at the end of the film. He's most famous for playing Bishop in the Alien films.
Oh, is that the same guy?
Yeah, it's the same guy.
No
He's
way.
in the film for about 10 seconds.
Yep, and he says, those plumbers really did it, or something like that. See, that's the weird thing as well. It's like, it's bad enough, right? It's bad enough that they're like, oh, this is meant to be the king of the Koopas. Or not the king of the Koopas, king of the Mushroom Kingdom. But they give him like a huge, like, fur shawl or something, a fur cape. Like a kingly cape. And it's like, there is nothing medieval about this world at all. This is like, as I said before, this is Mad Max 2.0. Why is he in a cape? That looks more like royalty from like a. Why would they have plumbing in the world? You know what? I'm not even gonna go.
I feel bad making you watch this. I've like broken you with all the plumbing stuff.
It's just I didn't. Maybe it's because I watched it with friends, before, and I didn't like. When you watch a film like this with friends, I would still recommend people watch this film with friends, because it's one of those films that is definitely so ridiculous, but at the same time it's really like fun to watch. I do agree, as much as I'm moaning about it, it's fun to watch, but it's like small things when you go back to watch it, like there's a scene where Mario's like, oh, these pipes haven't been serviced for years, and Luigi's like, oh, it must be a non-union job or something. That's like, I get it, you fix pipes for a living. It's like, can we just, like, not? And then he's like, you gotta trust your tools, Luigi. And I'm like, okay, so what have we got in this film? We've got dimension hopping, the Catholic Church, babies getting born out of eggs, and now we've got Plumbing 101. Yeah, this film maybe broke me more than I care to admit.
How can you not love this film when you just listed everything there?
Like, oh yeah, and of course the bomb that like takes which I have to admit I did find that funny when he winds it up. Although I did think, why didn't he just throw it? But there wouldn't have been a film, I guess. But then they transformed that other guy into a monkey. Like,
oh yeah,
why? Or not even why, but like, does he ever get fixed?
Was that meant to be Donkey Kong? Was that where that was going?
No, but that would have made sense if it was.
That would have been fun, because if they had, again, like like with Dread. I mean, it's such a shame that they weren't able to like expand this universe out.
Yeah,
we could have had Donkey Kong, we could have had a Big Bertha TV series. Think of all the possibilities we had. We could have one about like Granny's Adventures and Dino Hatton.
Are you thinking of the Marvel Extended Universe?
I literally am. I'm thinking of the Super Mario Extended Universe. Make it a thing. Release the. Oh, I was going to say, what's the Snyder Cut version of this?
I don't even know. I don't even.
Bring it back.
The Koopa Cut, yeah.
Release the Koopa Cut. I like it.
We demanded. In glorious 4K Steelbook Blu-ray. We demanded. Oh my god, this film is just, it's just surreal. Can we talk about the ending, like, real quick?
Let's go for it.
Like, sorry, I just got a message there from someone saying the Big Bertha cut, and I'm laughing. God damn it. Right,
who owns this film? Release it Buena Vista. Release it Buena Vista.
Come on, you cowards.
Come on, do it. People want it.
Look, do I have to follow them, like, on Twitter?
Yes, you
I
do
just
now.
spam
Yes.
them every day. It's like,
yes, you do.
oh god, I'm going to be one of those, like, you know, the novelty or gimmick accounts where it's like, day 1 of spamming them until they release the Big Bertha cut. Day 50 until they release the Big Bertha cut. It should be like, where is it?
Purpose in life.
But yeah, the ending is just so weird for this film. It's like, in fact, sorry, before I go on about that, apparently the Italian version, and I don't know why, but apparently the Italian version ends like a lot sooner.
Oh, really?
Apparently it ends when like the Koopas are dancing, and that's it. At least I read
Why?
that somewhere. I could be wrong. I don't know. They never say.
That's strange.
They
At least the Italian version.
I don't know. That's me just sobbing in a corner in the dark going, I don't know what's going on. I mean, between the woman who turns into a skeleton...
Oh, that is great.
That is actually hilarious. There's a scene
where George falls open at the end.
Yeah, it's like, there's a scene where, like, the love interest for Koopa tries to, like, use the key to get into the real world, but obviously because she's not the chosen one or whatever, she can't get through. So she gets turned into a skeleton and, like, slammed against the wall. So they've got this prosthetic skeleton, just like in a T-pose, just like, ah! It's like, oh, it's so funny. I was like, I can't believe they did this. I can't believe, like, the prop guy made this up, and they're just like, yes, this is what I want in my film. This is
my finest work.
My Mario opus, you know?
Hey.
It's like, oh, do you think people put, like, obviously except the main stars, but do you think people put this on their CV?
I mean, I think maybe if you're like the visual effects people, because like there is some quite impressive stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for its time. Apart from that, I don't know. Probably not. Probably not.
Spinning out
maybe the strippers have it on their CV.
Do you know the reason why they took that out? Other than the fact it makes no sense in the Mario film, but do you know the other reason they took that scene out was because apparently a couple of weeks before they released it, I think Disney got the distributing rights for this film.
Oh yeah.
So they had to change a couple of things, and that was one of the things. Which, thank goodness, I don't know. Like, I feel as if that would have been a bit too much, and this is coming from someone who's complained about, you know, plumbing for a solid hour and a half. But, you know, plumbers are important, but I don't want to watch every 5 minutes of a Mario film.
I don't want their lifestyle rubbed in my face.
I know, that opulent lifestyle of fighting dinosaurs. Like, why do you show me what I can never have? Yeah, the ending is like just the total, it's the absolute pinnacle of a 90s video game ending, like video game film ending, where they basically tease for a sequel, and it's basically they leave Daisy behind in the dino world, and you know, Luigi's like, but I love you, and it's like, Luigi, you've known her for half a day, get over it. And they end up going back to their apartment, and you know, like, Mario's shacked up with Daniela, and everything seems to be going better now. Like, their apartment's like a lot cleaner and everything. Like, did you notice that?
Yeah, they've hit the big bucks now.
Really did. And I don't know, like, was Daniela rich? I don't even know. Is she in the lore for Mario?
She's a mafia daughter.
Mafia, oh god, yeah, that'll be the sequel. But yeah, like, Daisy kicks down the door and she's got, like, a band of, like, ammo over her, and she's like, Mario, Luigi, something's going down, and Mario's just kind of like, oh, I know, or something like that, and it's like, what the and like Luigi's like, how do you know? And he grabs his tool belt, and I'm like, oh, here we go again.
More damn plumbing.
Why do I get the feeling that the sequel was like a straight to DVD like plumbing instructional video? It's just like, here's how you fix a T-joint. It's like, oh no.
That would have been amazing. Release the instructional video cut.
Release the whole Snyder cut. Oh, sorry, the Big Bertha cut. We need it. We need it. Yeah, it's one of those endings that is just left on a cliffhanger, and you're just like, why?
Never to be resolved.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, to be continued, and it's like, and it never was. And the reason I say that is because I think that's how the Mortal Kombat film ended, where that ended on a cliffhanger. Yeah, before the sequel like picked off right where the first one ended. I don't know if the Street Fighter one did that as well, but it was a typical thing in the 90s for those kind of films, where it was like they wanted to kind of bait a sequel, but obviously because it did so poorly, it did not work out.
Not to be.
Nah, which is a shame. But is there anything else you want to touch on, like, before we kind of conclude?
Actually, one quick thing I want to talk about, so Mario wouldn't have had a voice by this point, would he, in the games?
No, but he would have had... I mean, technically he had a voice in the cartoons and things.
Oh, so the cartoon... What voice did he have in the cartoons? Do you know?
I don't know if it was like stereotypic. I think it was like Brooklyn accent. Like I think.
It was kind of a bit like what Bob Hoskins was doing.
I think so. Yeah, I think because that's exactly the kind of voice, and I could be wrong because I don't know my accents from my elbow when it comes to America, but like I'm sure it was a kind of Brooklyn or a hey, it's a Super Mario show like that
kind of Italian American.
Yeah, accent. Pretty much.
Rather than like the one that we have now. Like
Okay. Fun fact: he's a really nice person. Just off topic. Yeah, I got this is a complete like side tangent, but were you there when I got the autograph from him?
No, I wasn't. Unfortunately, I've only heard this story secondhand.
Oh god, yeah. So for some reason, I decided to get the autograph of the voice actor who does Mario, Charles. I'm not even going to attempt his second name because I know I'll mess it up, so I wouldn't say it. But he basically I remember people saying I was telling someone about this, and they were like, "Oh, I remember when I went to see him, and he was very, very stoic." He just signed and brushed people off. See, when I went, he came out with like the full music going, woohoo, yep, woohoo, and I was like, oh my god, should I be here? But he seemed like a nice guy, That's all I was getting at with that very side tangent. And that 5-minute snippet where I gave him an item to sign. Yeah, in case anyone's wondering, it was a copy of Mario 64. Just in case.
Good choice.
And he scribbled all over it, so you know what? That's a win in my book. But yeah, sorry, going back to the film. Yeah, it seems as if it was like a kind of Italian-American, Brooklyn-y accent.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Well, that makes more sense because I did wonder if he had Mario had the accent the voice that we associate with him now. That's another weird choice, but okay, fair enough. I think because Bob Hoskins is declared. Have you seen that film Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
I've seen bits of it. Yeah,
that's a good film. But he's basically doing his character from that in this one, kind of. So it is that kind of that kind of New York accent. But if that was the kind of voice they had in the cartoons, then that makes a bit more sense.
Right.
On that one. Mm-hmm. Also, it's a shame Luigi doesn't have a mustache because he had a mustache in the games, right? By this point.
Yeah. I just think they got John Leguizamo and were just like,
that'll do it.
Just
Leguizamo sounds a bit like Luigi.
Yeah, it's like let's just slap him in.
It's all Italian. We're fine.
Yeah, let's just slap him in some overalls and that'll be fine. Red or green? Oh, I don't know.
Red hoodie.
Yeah, it's
get somebody 20 years later very annoyed.
Do you know, the more I think about it, the more I think that maybe the costume designer was a Sonic fan and he was just purposely trying to sabotage this film.
No, that's the film I want to see. I want to see the Sonic fan try and take down this film. Is this the one? Do you think this is the one area where Sonic has the upper hand on Mario in terms of films?
Nowadays, yes. Back then, no, because they did technically have a animated film. Which that actually might be another good one for a Satsunami, but it's a very surreal one. I think I don't know. Like, I'm thinking, do I prefer this or do I prefer that? I don't know, because that was another weird one where it's like an anime. It's not like a live action. It's
Oh.
a like anime one, but it was supposed to be like an anime one that would lead into a series, but it wasn't really received well, and just there's just a whole load of random stuff like thrown in. But I mean, at least it stays true to the character in that sense.
Oh,
So
that's good.
technically, like I think it's probably got a leg over this one, but not by much. I'm not saying it's like it's like running miles ahead of it by any means, but yeah, I think Mario was just unfortunate. And again, like if you look at nowadays, the new Mario films getting developed by I think it's Illumination Films,
Yeah.
which I have to admit, like Mario in a like animated setting. I think that could work. I definitely think that could work. And again, they're going for the Mushroom Kingdom setting and everything. And I mean, look at the games nowadays. Like,
Yeah.
the amount of locations and places that they've actually, explored and things. Even their cities. Like, whenever they explore a city, like in Mario Odyssey, it's very, vibrant. And then
Yeah.
we get Dino Hatton. But no, like, it was the first time. Like,
He's a bit too ahead of his time, I think.
Yeah.
As you say, so it'd be much easier to adapt a Mario story now.
oh
You know,
yeah,
'cause as
absolutely.
Odyssey has like kind of like a classic story to it and everything. You know, you could adapt something like that much more easily than you could do with the older like Super Mario Bros.
Sorry, can I just like before we wrap up? Can I just bring up one thing? You know the saboteurs.
Yes.
Did, did they ever bring them up again?
No.
It's literally they literally bump into them at one point, like when they go to fix the pipes, and then that's it. They're never seen again.
I mean, this Cabelli thing is kind of is like is it? No, I was gonna say it's a Deus Ex Machina, but I don't think it even is that. Like, it's just like it's a way for like Luigi and Daisy to connect, and then they're like at the end, they're like, "Oh crap! What do we have to resolve this? Turn him into a monkey.
Yeah, they just turned them
We're
into
done with it now."
yeah, and they just carry off the monkey, and everybody starts laughing, and it's like that's horrifying. That's not funny.
No wonder he becomes Donkey Kong, probably.
Yeah. Oh, it's just surreal, isn't it? As a film.
Yeah.
But kind
Go
of
watch it.
I know, go watch it. Like, kind of wrapping up though, like, what would your kind of final thoughts be on this film as a whole? Other than watch it, because I know you've said that.
I have to say, I like this film is ridiculous, and there's a lot bad in it, but I still really like it. The times I've watched it, I've had such a blast watching it. I think it's very funny, both intentionally and unintentionally. But yeah, like if you can watch it with somebody else, like, and I think you can have a good time. You can have a good time with this film.
I would agree with that. I do think, I genuinely do think that this is definitely a bad, like, you and I are both like kind of fans of bad films, aren't we?
Yeah.
In the sense that it's like films that are so bad that you can actually enjoy, kind of thing, like The Room,
Yeah.
for example, or Birdemic or whatever. I do think this is definitely one that falls in that category. Whether or not, like, I feel as if alone, like, if you're taking this as a Mario adaptation, then yeah, you're not going to have a
It
good
sucks,
time.
yeah.
Yeah, it sucks. You're not going to have a good time at all. If you're taking this as another, like, again, I don't want to say generic, but like another bad movie that you can, that you can watch with friends, like obviously with at your discretion, considering lockdown and everything. But if you're out of that and you're allowed,
I thought you were going to give a health warning there for like, watch this film at your own discretion. We take no responsibility here. That's Satsunami for damage inflicted.
Super Mario Brothers may include migraines and other sort of things.
Because you'd have an irrational hatred of plumbers.
I don't hate plumbers, okay? I feel as if they
You were
died.
talking about them for the whole hour.
I just don't get why they focused on the damn plumbing. Moving on. Yeah, have a garden party with this film. You'll love it. The kids will love it. Especially for kids. They'll love this film. Nah, jokes aside, it's a terrible film, but it's a fun terrible film.
Yeah.
If you're wanting, as I said, if you're wanting the Mario adaptation, just wait till the Elimination one. I'm sure that's going to be great. If you want, just like a fun, goofy film from the 90s that you can enjoy with friends, get a couple of friends round if you can, get your snacks and everything, and just enjoy it. Just laugh, because it is. It's like the one thing I will say about this film, and this is something I do love about bad films, because as much as I did complain earlier, at least if it's so bad you can talk about it, then it's done something right. Because, we can talk for ages, about the, designs and everything, and, like things that went right, things that went wrong, but at least if we do that, it's made an impression, which is something that I feel as if it does really well. Definitely leaves an impression. And it took a risk. Like, it did take a huge risk with half of its things. So I can admire the film for that. I can't, 100% say, oh, it's terrible, we'll never watch it. Like, I don't say that at all. The only thing I would say, don't rush out for the Blu-ray. I mean, you could rush out for the Blu-ray if you wanted. Yeah, I've got the Blu-ray sitting right beside me.
What are the bonus features?
Oh, that's a good question, actually. I don't think bonus features, this ain't no game. Oh god, there's a 60-minute documentary in this.
Oh my god, we have to watch that.
Oh my god, we actually do. That can actually be a Satsunami after hours.
Oh my god, we've got it.
There is a making of. I actually didn't realise that. That shows how attentive I was. I was just like, yeah, turn the film off, get it out.
Get it out of here.
There's the original electronic press kit, whatever that means, and there's behind the scenes the storyboard. Can I also just say as well, they've also got a still on the back of this box of when Toad gets transformed into a Goomba. But it's between when he's getting transformed and it's like between when he's getting transformed into a Goomba and when he's still human. So his face is like all stretched. It looks more like, like a gum commercial.
I love it.
It's like, this is what happens when you eat 5 gum. It's like, yeah, this is nothing. But yeah, overall, I would say, if you can watch it with friends, just, make a night of it. Make a night of, bad films. Just in general, bad film nights are great, but
yeah,
I would recommend this film as well. It's goofy, it's absolutely insane, but at the same time, I have to admit, I've got a soft spot for it. Even after ranting, I still have a soft spot. Maybe that's Stockholm syndrome. I don't know. I don't know.
It's like the end of When Harry Met Sally. It was in that one where Sally says to Harry, he's like, "It's just so damn difficult to hate you."
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
A word to that effect.
Exactly. And yeah, speaking of that, if you want to catch more of my content, you can catch me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch. Of course, Twitch, because you're listening here. Did you just collapse there?
I just fainted off my chair.
He's like, one alone.
Bad enough.
So yeah, sorry. Before I was rudely interrupted by your collapsing. Nah, very good. You can catch me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook and TikTok as well, under the name Satsunami42. If you want to catch more of our Chatsunami episodes, you can check out on Anchor, Spotify, and all good podcast apps. So if you type in Chatsunami, you will find us. And also, we now have a YouTube channel for Chatsunami. So if you can't watch it, or rather listen to it on Anchor or Spotify, type in Chatsunami onto YouTube and you'll find us there for episodes old and new. And yeah, I'm really excited about that because it took ages to upload all of the episodes, but you know what, it was worth it.
Worth it though, definitely.
It was absolutely, yeah. So they're all in one place, they're all organised very neatly, very neatly into nice playlists. So yeah, go check it out if you haven't already. So yeah, thank you Adam once again so much for joining in. And yeah, as always guys, stay safe, stay awesome. And if somebody leaves an egg on your doorstep, close the door, call the police, and yeah, just don't touch that egg. Yeah, and stay hydrated. Bye, guys.
Bye.